Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Let's Paint a Mini. Alright, so I want to do more of Mansions of Madness, and it occurred to me in the last video that I had made, it was the Priest of Dagon and the Witches. It occurred to me that the Witches were part of a different set than the Priest of Dagon. So I thought, let's try not to do that from now on, just for the sake of convenience for anyone who might not have all of the sets. So we're going to try to keep to individual sets. So we're going to the core set. This comes with the regular second edition of the board game. You get a ghost, and you get two of these hunting horrors. Now, I wanted to do the hunting horrors, and I kind of wanted to do a third one, and I thought that an easy one to do would be the ghost here. Alright, so with the hunting horrors, I want to start with them, and I imagine them being like a blue kind of color. At least that's what I've seen for a lot of, like, fan art, you know, a lot of people who do their own... Boop. Boop. There we go. Kind of straightened it out a little bit there. Okay. So I imagine them being just a little bit blue. Alright, so... Oh, you know what? Holy crap! I don't have my little plastic surface. Hold on. Magic. I made it appear. Oh, the glories of editing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do just to be clear, so the first thing that I did was I did a base coat of black here. I just used a black primer and I just sprayed all of these bad guys. Okay, so I'm gonna take some sapphire blue. This is kind of a darker blue color, but it's not super dark. The reason why I'm going with this color is because when I did the Priest of Dagon, I used midnight blue, and then I think I used this as the highlight. Well, I kind of wanted these guys to be just a little tiny bit brighter. I don't know. I don't want them to be quite as shadowy. I want them to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to use this as the base, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm going to use a medium base brush here. All right, and I'm going to use my little trick, too, that I do to kind of make it go by just a little bit faster, where I'm actually just going to sort of dip the tip of my brush, just the tip, into this water here, just to, water the paint down a little tiny bit, and that will just make the paint a little bit runnier, and make it seep into all over the surface area a little bit faster. All right, so let's just go ahead and coat all of the hunting horrors here with this blue color. Alright, and I don't want the wings to be this blue color, actually. I'll still go ahead and go over all of the, I don't know what the term is, the sort of webbing of his wings. No, the webbing would be like the kind of flaps right here. So we'll do the more like skeletal, yeah, let's say the skeletal part of the wings with this blue color. And I think I'll actually just do black for the webbing of the wings. But we'll go over that secondary to all of this. Alright, once again, just kind of dipping my brush in a little bit of water. Just making it a little bit thinner. A little bit easier to work with. Or rather, just, just gets the job done a little bit faster, that's all. Alright, if you're a regular to the channel, like if this isn't the first one of these videos you've seen, then you'll know that I have already replaced the bases here with my own bases. The Mansions of Madness miniatures, for those of you who are new, who this might be your first video. Yeah, the bases that came with Mansions of Madness, as you might know, if you're watching this video for the first time, you're wanting to see some Mansions miniatures being painted. They've got these really kind of obnoxious, bulky, square bases, and you gotta fit the monster miniatures into these little, these little pegs that they come with into the little holes of the bases, and that's how you actually base the miniatures in the board game. I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of those bases, so I just cut off those little pegs and then I just kind of glued them down onto my own bases here. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but it's just kind of a personal decision I made here. But it's up to you. You do whatever you want. Obviously, these are your miniatures, so you can do whatever you want with them. Alright, and as you can probably see, I'm actually just going around the eyes, and I'm also not going in the mouth here. because I think we're gonna do some other stuff with those particular parts. I need to get a little tiny bit more water on my brush. Okay, so there's a base coat of one of the hunting horrors. Now I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Where is he? Here he is. Okay. Alright, so just everything that I just did, I'm going to do all of that again. Oops, got over the eyes just a little tiny bit, but that's okay. That'd be fine. No worries. When I glued this one to the base here, I really apparently glued his entire tail to the base. So gotta be a little bit more delicate with this one, but that's okay. We'll be fine. Alright, I think I had pretty much just the right amount of paint here, actually. Yeah, I think I've got some nice even coats on each of them. Okay, there we go. Now we got some nice blue hunting horrors. Okay, so I'm gonna rinse that brush off. All right, and tell you what, while those guys are drying, let's move on to the ghost. Let's have some fun with the ghost. All right, so for the ghost, I think that we're gonna actually have a really, really, really simple paint job. All right, and I kind of want, well, you know, I want a ghostly. I want a ghost, you know, a really, really white, you know, looking guy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some rainy gray. The label is faded off of this bottle here, but I'm using rainy gray. Gonna get out a fair amount here. So there we go. Okay, and I'm just gonna base coat the whole guy, all of him, with this rainy gray. Tell you what, I'm gonna bump up my my brush game a little bit. I'll use a medium shader here. Technically, this isn't used specifically for base coating, base brushes, or anything like that, but that's okay. I think that I can get away with it. All right, so that's most of the ghost. Now I need to really settle into those little fine, low contours of this miniature with this gray paint. So I'm actually gonna get rid of that brush really quickly. I'll go back to that medium base brush that I was using, and we'll use this to finish up like the feet here and all the low contours, all the little nooks and crannies that are hard to get into with that bigger brush that I was just using. Alright, so now we've got the ghost all covered in that rainy gray. So I'm going to set him there. Alright, I'll rinse off my brush that I was just using. Alright, I'm going to go back to my hunting horrors. Hunting horrors. Help myself to a beverage. And I think that what I want to do to emphasize and bring out the blue is I'm going to use this true blue color. It's just a lighter shade of this blue. And I'm going to dry brush the hunting horrors with this blue color. Alright, so I'm going to go to my small-sized Citadel dry brush that I use here. And so with dry brushing, you want to load up a bunch of paint onto the bristles, just like what we're doing right here. But you actually want to wipe off most of the paint. And the reason why they call this dry brushing is because you've got such a little amount of paint onto on the actual brush itself that it's almost dry. You know, you can kind of see paint on there, but it's not a whole lot. It's not wet, it's not sopping. You know, when I run it through over this plastic surface, like nothing shows up, and it'll show up on the miniatures here. But yeah, it's just very, very dry. Okay, so we're gonna take that and we're just going to dry brush all of the blue that we just did with the hunting horrors. And yeah, you can kind of see the high contours of the miniature, like the arms and all the little kind of details just start to show up a little bit, and it just kind of brings out all the details nicely. Yeah, check that out. Isn't that cool? There we go. That adds some serious depth, and it really does a nice job of bringing out all the little details of this guy, all the little like kind of scales that he's got kind of going all over his body here. this kind of shade of blue here is my wife's favorite shade of blue, so I think that she'll like these miniatures whenever I have them all painted here. She really likes that kind of light blue, baby blue kind of thing. So there you go. Sometimes whenever you're painting miniatures for a board game, if you're going to be playing that board game with a bunch of other people, maybe kind of get out of them what kind of colors and designs they like, and maybe do that kind of thing with some of the miniatures that you do. I think that'd be nice. There we go. That's looking nice. They look nice. Okay, so that's one of them there. I think that looks pretty good, so we're going to move on there. But yeah, you can kind of see the difference between, you know, dry brushing and not dry brushing. You can really see the color variation pop out a lot more on this guy on the right than you can on this guy on the left here. So yeah, and let's just do the same thing to this other guy right over here. Oh, there was quite a bit of paint on my bristles there. I didn't quite wipe enough off there. That's okay. That's fine. That'll be fine. That's fine. All right. So now we've got our hunting horrors nice and blue there. All right. And let's go back to the ghost. Let's have some fun with the ghost. Let's keep using our dry brush. And let's go ahead and do our dry brushing technique for the ghost here. So now that we've got the nice big layer of rainy gray on there, we're going to move on to some pure white. This is another bottle where the label is faded off here, but this is just pure white. Okay, so I'm just going to get some paint onto my little tiny surface right here. There we go. Okay. And then we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did with the hunting horrors just now with that blue color. We're going to do this to the ghost with this white color. All right, so we just want to dry brush the white over this ghost. Load up some paint onto the bristles. Okay, all right, and let's party. Yeah, there we go. I think that the dry brushing on this ghost is going to look really, really nice because there are lots of depth variations on this miniature. A lot of clothes, a lot of folds in his clothes, and that'll really bring out some white, and it'll really add some color variation here. Yeah, this ghost is coming along really nice. Yeah, like I said, you can really see all of the high points of this miniature really come out. There are a lot on here. He kind of looks almost a little bit statuesque, but that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, he's a ghost. He's gonna be all gray and white. Gonna be all kinds of paleness going on here. Very dusty, ghastly, like he belongs in a haunted house. That's what we're going for. There we go. All right. So that's pretty good for the ghost right there. All right. Let's move on to some small details on the hunting horrors. Tell you what, the first thing that I want to do actually is I want to clean up those wings. All right. I'm kind of imagining the wings actually just being regularly black. So I'm just going to take some pure black right here. Just going to go back to some regular black. I don't think I need a whole lot, so I won't get out too much. We'll get some paint out here. Uh-oh. I think my bottle might be stopped up. Yep, okay, that's okay. Sometimes that happens with these little squeeze bottles like this. You can just take a little safety pin like this. You can just poke it right into the top of the bottle. Maybe spin it around a little bit. Bring it back up. Oh, and yeah, you can already see it coming out there. There we go. I think that'll be all that I need, really. Okay. Let's move on to a slightly smaller brush, because we are kind of working our way into smaller details. So we're just going to use a Reaper medium brush here. All right, and all of the webbing on the wings. Let's just go over all of that with this black. Okay, so those are some black wings on them. Yeah, that's just much more touched up than what's going on over here. All right, so let's do the same thing to this guy right here. By the way, if you are doing the underside of the wings here, I wouldn't be super concerned about being as detailed with them because the wings are always kind of facing down like that, so it seems like no matter what angle you really look at it at, it's kind of hard to see the bottom part of the wings. I'm just kind of doing it for my own sake, but I would say, you know, if you're pressed for time or if you don't want to mess with it, I would say don't worry about the underside of the wings here. I think you'll be all right. Okay. So we got the wings there. Those look pretty nice. All right, and let's move on to some details around the mouth and the head region. I'm kind of imagining. Tell you what, let's actually use. I'm gonna use this stuff called Citadel Blood for the Blood God. This stuff is awesome. It's got the color and the consistency and the and all that of actual blood. It's the closest thing to actual blood that I have found for miniature paints. So this stuff is great. If you get your hands on some of this stuff, definitely use it. It's great. And I kind of want to just use that for the interior of the mouth, actually. I think that will be nice and appropriate, and I think that that'll work out. So yeah, let's just go ahead and use this for their mouths. Okay, that'll work out nice for that. Yeah, it's kind of dark, but that's okay because, you know, there's not a lot of light coming in through the mouths. So it will be a little bit darker. Okay, so that's it for their mouths. That'll be fine there. All right, so I'm done with that stuff. Ooh, there we go. All right. All right, next up, I really want to bring out those eyes, so I'm going to use a nice bright red here. I'm going to use some fire red, and we're going to use that for their eyes. Now, they don't have super huge eyes. However, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start with the ghost, because I imagine him having the same really bright red eyes. So I'm using a really itty-bitty, teeny-tiny micro detail. Where, you know what? Actually, I'm kind of backtracking here a little bit. Let's use that black that I've still got out just a little bit, since it's nice and wet, and I'm going to use that to start with the eyes of the ghost. So we're good there. All right, and now that I've got kind of a base of black there with the ghost, yeah, using that black, it's got a real soulless kind of dark look to it. Now I'll go ahead and use, excuse me. Now I'll go ahead and use that fire red. So I'm just going to dot some fire red onto the eyes, and hopefully the black that we use underneath it will just be used to kind of accentuate the red here and really bring out the darkness of his eyes and the creepy soullessness of it. There we go, yeah. That's creepy. I like that. Okay, that's great. All right. And now I'm not gonna use the high detailed brush for this, but we're just gonna use straight up red for the eyes here as well. I'll just go back to that medium round brush that I was using. I think that'll be fine. That brings out those eyes nice and red, nice and menacing. All right, and that's the other set of eyes there. Dot this one just a little bit more. There we go, that brightens that up a little bit. Okay, so now we got some creepy red eyes on these little hunting horrors here. All right, we actually don't really have a lot else to do. One thing that I kind of want to do is I want to bring out the teeth on those hunting horrors a little bit. So I'm just going to use leather brown here. This is a really nice shade of brown. I use it for, whoa, hang on. My paint bottle is messed up. Okay, hold on. There we go, maybe. Okay, cool. All right, but this is a very versatile color. You can use it for a lot of stuff. You can use it for like wood-based things. You can use it for brown leather-based things, which is what it's named for, obviously. You can use it for bone, teeth. It's got a lot of uses to it. All right, So I'll just use that that one medium brush that I was using. I think I can get away with it. And I'm just gonna get the fangs here. Yeah, I don't like to just use regular white for teeth or bone or anything like that, because, I don't know, it just looks a little bit flat, and the colors tend to just go a little bit better if you use something that's got a little bit more of a kind of a tan look to it. So if you use this kind of leather brown or something like that, that looks pretty nice. Yeah, there we go. That looks great. It's got a little bit kind of a yellowy kind of look to it, which is nice and nasty for big slimy monsters. Okay, and that's the other set of teeth there, and I think that that'll be fine. All right. I think the last thing that I'm going to do, actually, well, not last. I still have a few more things that I want to do. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is, oh, if I can find it. I'm going to take some blood red here, just some darker red, you know, a blood red color, and I'm going to use that to dry brush the wings. And that'll add just a little bit of kind of a red tint to the wings that I think will contrast the blue very nicely. And it'll kind of go with their eyes a little bit as well. Yeah, there we go. That just brings out a little bit of red to the wings that looks nice and menacing. I kind of like that. All right. Yeah, that looks cool. All right. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and that brings out a little bit of red onto their wings. That looks nice. I like that. All right. And then I think the last thing that I'm going to do with the hunting horrors is I'm going to take some more black, not a whole lot, just a very, very, very tiny amount of black, just a little dot, okay? That's all you really need. And I'll go back to my fine detail brush, and I kind of want to put sort of venomous, you know, snake or cat-like pupils on their eyes. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on the tip of my high detailed brush here, and then I'm just going to do like a slit. There we go, just like that. And the same thing on the other side. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's got kind of a venomous, sort of viper-looking kind of thing to it. And while I'm here, actually, I'll go ahead and do the thing that I kind of like to do. And that is, I kind of like to have a little bit of black around the eyes, just to kind of help separate the eyes from like the skin color. It's just kind of a thing that I tend to like to do. You don't have to do it though if you don't want to. There we go. All right. And I think that that'll be it for the hunting horrors. Just a nice, basic, simple paint job there. You don't need to do anything super fancy. And I think that to touch up the ghost here, there's really not a lot you need to do. Honestly, if you wanted to just leave him like this, you'd probably be fine. But what I think I am going to do is I'm going to kind of imagine that those chains that he's got hanging on him are actually kind of real. So I'm going to take some honed steel, and I'm just going to get a little bit out here. I don't think that I need very much. And I'll go back to my dry brush a little bit, and I'm just going to really lightly try to dry brush the chains that he's got hanging off of him. You know, just to kind of make it look like there's some actual chains kind of floating in the air, which is kind of creepy. All right. And I think that that's pretty much it. Yeah, and I think I'm going to go ahead and call it with these guys right here. So there you go, everyone. Those are some hunting horrors and the ghost from Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. If you liked the video, go ahead and just throw it a like. If you want to see more videos like it, like me just painting more Mansions of Madness and other miniatures in general, and more just kind of board game hobby stuff and some video game stuff here and there, a lot of Doom stuff, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You know, that's up to you, whatever you want to do. But thank you again, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time on Let's Paint a Mini. Bye.